Throughout the pandemic, restrictions on social gatherings have forced those who celebrate Easter, Passover, and Ramadan to find new ways to practice their faith. And we wanted to explore how the coronavirus is changing places of worship with three faith leaders. Reverend Tim Cole serves as rector for Christ Church, Georgetown. He was the District of Columbia's first confirmed coronavirus case. Brigida Rosenberg is the senior rabbi at United Hebrew Congregation in St. Louis, Missouri. And Imam Khalid Latif is the executive director of the Islamic Center at New York University. And we welcome all three of you to the program. Reverend Tim Cole, let me begin with you. How has this time changed the way you worship? What is different? What's lost?
Well, of course, a huge amount is lost in the physical proximity of being together. Worship, as we understand it, has two main dimensions. It has a horizontal dimension where people are gathered in the community, and of course, there's a vertical dimension in terms of our relationship with God. But so what we've had to do is adapt, and we've started to do, as many churches have done, virtual services. We have a daily morning prayer, which is read by different members of the congregation around the city from their own living rooms. So it's rather lovely. You can see families taking part in the daily prayer of the church. And on Sunday, of course, we have a similar offering, but with a sermon and with music. Our choir has been able to record some beautiful pieces of music to go with that. So we're doing the very best we can, as I'm sure everyone else is.
Imam Latif, what about you? This is, of course, we're in the holy month of Ramadan. What's lost? What's different now?
So much about Ramadan is communal. As much as the fast that we have from dawn till dusk is an individual practice, much ritual in Islam blends communal aspects and draws itself towards social equity. And so where people traditionally would be breaking their fast at sunset with family and friends, or going to community gatherings or interfaith settings, city officials hosting iftars, now many are at home. If they have family with them or roommates, they might break fast together, but many are doing it on their own. And so what we've done, similar to the Reverend, I shifted a lot of our programming online. We are doing things from 5 in the morning till about 10 or 11 at night, scattered throughout the day to really meet the diverse needs of our community at this time. And what we've also done is created a lot of online campaigns to crowdfund to help people who have been financially impacted by the pandemic, and to assure that, especially within our month of fasting, where we can help individuals of whatever background, we'll do our part to be a source of healing at this time.
And Rabbi Rosenberg, April has been the month of Passover for Jews in America. How has what you're doing and what you've done changed during this period?
Certainly, as we just heard from my two colleagues, that we've really had to, in the same way, take things online and do them virtually. Certainly with regard to Passover, there is such a communal aspect to Passover, just as there is to Ramadan, especially the meals that are held together. And so many families could not do that and gather generationally. So many places brought the Seder meals online and brought the opportunity for people to be together. And I would say that the virtual world has really become such a lifeline for so many people, especially those who are home by themselves. And, there isn't anybody else there. And being able to come online, not just for worship, but, to offer study, to offer conversation, just as we've heard, we're finding ways to just bring the congregation and bring community and connection to people in a variety of ways.
And Reverend Cole, what is it that people are seeking right now in your congregation? Are you finding they're reaching out to you more? Are they able to express their needs?
Yes, I think so. And it's been rather wonderful, actually. I've been sick, so my colleague, Crystal Harden, has been holding the fort here and done a fantastic job. But it's rather wonderful what's happened. There's been a flowering, if you like, a blossoming of community. throughout this period, where people have reached out to their neighbours and their fellow parishioners even more than they normally do. We've had networks of phone chains across the parish.
And I should have said at the outset, we are so glad to see you looking so well after what you went through. Imam Latif, what about you? Are you finding people who are part of who are part of Islam, who you work with, who you know? Are they reaching out more? Is it harder for them to reach out? What are you finding?
Every day we're getting contacted by Muslims, as well as people of other faiths, who are just really trying to figure out how to make sense of it all. I think the challenge is that experience tends to be quite diverse. And with difficulties like this, we see a lot of revelations of various kinds that can help us to be compelled to doing our part. Because even in our month of fasting, Ramadan, it's not in a vacuum. There's a pandemic in the background, and the purpose of ritual in our tradition is to elevate consciousness and bring people to take on social ills. So where we see people on the front lines or essential workers who every day are meeting the virus and displaying real goodness and beauty.
And Rabbi Rosenberg, what are you hearing from people who are part of your synagogue, of the group of people who you would normally be reaching out to right now, or who would reach out to you?
You know, I'm definitely hearing that people are missing the physicality of being together, and the virtual works, but sometimes it doesn't work for everything. You know, one of the things that we're having to do is adapt and adjust. You know, this is a time where there are rituals that we can't necessarily do. So funerals look different right now. Weddings look different. Bar and bat mitzvah services look different because we cannot gather in the ways that we once did.
And finally, I want to ask each one of you, how do you offer hope to people at a time like this, when there is a lot of despair? We're mourning people who are lost. Reverend Cole, what is your message to people who say, I don't see the good in this?
Well, I think there is a lot of fear around, isn't there? Fear of sickness, fear of loss of livelihood, fear of just an uncertain future. And I think there are three things that help us with fear. One is humor. It's important to be able to keep a sense of humor about the things as much as we can. But more importantly, there is comradeship. There is the friendship and the close ties that we have. When I was in hospital, the fact that people were praying for me made it much harder to be afraid when I knew there were so many people standing beside me. So reaching out to those people who care for us and love us. And finally, of course, that's trust in the faithfulness of God, you know, who has promised to us all that he will see us through whatever it is we have to face. So I think those are the things that certainly helped me in my time in hospital. And thinking of Easter, you know, that's the pattern that repeats again and again. You know, we are in a dark place, we're in a period of waiting, and then there is new beginnings and new life. And I pray this whole country and the world will get to that point with this crisis and this virus too.
Words to remember. Imam Latif, what about you? What do you offer what can you offer in the way of hope?
You know, I think building off of everything that the Reverend is saying, where individuals are looking for a sense of hope, manifest that first step of empathizing being a mode of support, but then taking it to a level of helping to fulfill needs, where people are struggling in their day-to-day because they literally have no money. They have lost jobs, they have no benefits, and they don't know how to put food on the table. We have people who are spreading hope to people of all backgrounds in New York City, as Muslim volunteers are going out and providing meals to people, delivering it to their homes, making an opportunity for individuals to feel as if they're not forgotten or left behind by launching these campaigns that we have. We've already in the last 3 weeks, as a university-based Islamic center, raised over $1 million to assist people in need. And going into our month of fasting, our most recent campaign that's raised $300,000 in the last week or so has already sent checks to about 70 New Yorkers in 25 homes of various backgrounds, not just of our faith, to not simply speak hope, but to manifest hope, to manifest love, to manifest mercy in actions that say that in an unprecedented time, stepping up means also stepping out and just doing for others what you can so that you are the reason they have hope in this world and never the reason they might dread it.
And Rabbi Rosenberg, finally, I'm hearing more that the three of you have in common, that your faiths have in common, than I think people might expect.
And the one thing that I would say and that I often look to when we talk about hope is stopping and recognizing the little blessings, or what I call the little silver linings that come out of this, because there are those days where, you know, we are so fearful or we feel like this is never going to end, and yet there are these little moments of blessing when somebody reaches out to us, or when we reach out to somebody else, or we just stop and recognize we can take a breath, some of us, in this moment in ways that we never were able to do before. So it's just stopping and finding those small blessings in life.
Rabbi Brigitte Rosenberg, such a wonderful note to end on. Imam Khalid Latif and Reverend Tim Cole, we thank you so much, all three of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well,